Hello book lovers! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Debs.
And it goes a little something like
So today's video is going to be my February wrap-up, and I'm gonna tell you my review, not my reviews, but my ratings, and I'm gonna try and be very quick because I don't want this video to be as long as my first video was. And also I should say that I really suck at explaining books without spoiling anything, and to be honest, overall I just don't remember most of the things, and that's okay. We should normalize loving a book without remembering the details. I mean, I remember a few things, but like not very in-depth, so I'm just gonna try and move forward. So in February I read a total of 12 books, which was the same as in January, but I read like quite a few novellas in February, so I'm just gonna start. I have my phone here to help me out because, well, I don't know, and I would like to tell you in order. So the first book that I read, and I'm gonna put the images here because it's gonna be easier, even the ones that I have physically. It's gonna be easier, and don't mind this here, this is for my next video. But the first book that I read was Cupid's Pick, which is a novella, a Holy Night novella by, sorry if I'm butchering this, but I think it's Lee Jackwood. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, and I'm sorry if I'm misspelling that, but mispronouncing that, but I suck at pronouncing names, so yeah. So that novella was a very steamy and nice, entertaining novella to read. It was like meant for like Valentine's Day. Lee writes quite a few novellas. The first novella I read from her was back in December, and it was Christmas on the 13th Floor, which I didn't really like. I thought it was just smut and nothing else. And to be honest, we all love smut. I love some smut, but for me it has to have some meaning, some kind of plot behind it. If it's just about a smut, then I'm just not interested. It's just like boring. It's like I need to feel something when I'm reading it, not just orny, but I need to feel actually something, feel emotion, some kind of thing, like just want to, you know what I mean, angst or anything. I just need to feel something. So this novella was different. I really liked it. It's about this girl, and I'm sorry because I don't remember names, so it's about this girl and her sister kind of hooks her up on a blind date, and she doesn't want to go, but she's like, okay, she kind of gives in and goes, and turns out that her blind date is her high school crush, which is he's now a very like famous sports guy. I don't remember like the sport but I don't want to waste time and go search for it, but it was cute. I rated it 3.5 stars, and it was cute, but it was just a novella, so it was what it was. It was nice, it was entertaining, so it's just good. So the next book that I read, it was my first QB Tyler book, and it was a book that it came out last year, I think towards the end, maybe October or something, and it was super hyped up, and it still is, and like it has a motive, it is hyped up because it's that good. And I'm talking about What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. I read this on my Kindle, and it was really, really like, it delivered, and this is about Whitney, and oh my god, what's the name of the guy? I forgot. Is it Dom? Okay, I suck at names, so yeah. So this guy, he's older, and he's her parents' best friend, and he's also her godfather, so age gap. And this is also second chance. It was just so good. The whole banter, it was angsty, and it was like very steamy. the smut was just incredible. It was my first Cupids Tyler book, and I was just absolutely obsessed. The book was so good, and I was like, okay, I now understand why it was so hyped up and why people love Cupids. And now I just want to read all her books because this one was just so good, and I just really want to read more. And I was just like, you know, the age gap and the whole fact that he is like her godfather and her dad's best friend, and you know, he held her when she was born, you know, but at the same time you would think like, oh my god, no, that's just not okay, you know, you would think. But the way that she writes this story, and the way that, you know, that when they fell in love, the way that they first, like, you know, connected in that way, it was just perfect. And I think it was very well written, so I totally recommend. I think I gave this 4.5 stars. Yeah, 4.5 stars. Yeah, so yeah, I totally recommend What Was Meant to Be by Cupids Tyler. Obsessed, loved it. The third book that I read it's probably is one of my favorite books of the year so far, and probably will be one of my favorite books ever. And I'm talking about The Choice by A. Jade, or Ashley Jade. She's also the author of The Words, which I read back in January, and it's also one of my favorite books. And this book is a very angsty book. It's very emotional, it's heart-wrenching, it's filled with, I don't know, it's very short. I don't think it has 300 pages. If it does, it's just around that. But it's very short, and it's gonna be a duet. We're still waiting for the consequence, and I need it because it ends like kind of on a cliffhanger, or not exactly a cliffhanger, because Memphis and Sky, or Skylar, they are both secondary characters on The Words, and it's kind of like their relationship is very, you kind of see what happens after what happens in The Choice. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but basically The Choice is like, while they're growing up, and in The Words they are already like in the present, but the consequence is going to be like after The Words, if I'm not mistaken. So like in The Choice we get to see how they meet, and like the development of the things, and what happens, and everything they go through, and just their relationship. And it's really heartbreaking, and I have to say that I hate Josh with a passion. And I'm not gonna give you any spoiler, but I'm just glad. I'm not glad that but I'm glad that whatever happened in The Words. Okay, if you read The Words, you know what I mean. But basically, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a love triangle, but it is, you know. So it's just, it's kind of like the consequence is going to be like a second chance romance. But I cannot wait. And this book was a total of 5 stars for me, but I would rate it like infinite stars, because it was just absolutely beautiful, and I was so obsessed because they go through so much. And Skylar especially, she's so broken, but also Memphis, but he loves her. Like, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I'm just obsessed. So we're gonna move on, because, or else I'm not gonna shut up, because this book just has me in my freaking feels. All right, so I'm just gonna move on to the next book, which is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. It was my first book by Penelope Douglas, and I don't want to say that I was disappointed, but I kind of was, because I bought the whole Devil's Night series because I saw a lot of things, what? A lot of people raving about it, and I know that if people say that Corrupt is probably the worst book in the series, and I get it. It was I think I rated it like 3.5 stars. Yeah, I think that's a lot. I should have rated it like 3 stars, because I didn't feel it. I didn't feel their connection. I didn't feel like they actually liked each other. I hated, I don't want to say hated, but I didn't like Erica or Michael. They, especially Erica. I felt like she was just a, I don't want to say spoiled brat, but very too high up in her nose, and to just, so I'm hoping that the other books are better, just like everyone else says, and I cannot wait for Damon's book. I know it's like the third one, but I'm also really excited for Kay's book, because Kay was my favorite character of all of these characters from the series, and I have Corrupt here, but I don't think you can see it, but yeah. So yeah, that was my rating. It was 3.5 stars, but I just didn't really love it like I thought I would. So it was kind of a disappointment, but I'm still gonna read the rest of the series. Not only because I bought it, but I'm curious, I'm curious to know what happens next. So yeah. So the next book I read was also a first book. It was my first book from this author, but surely not the last one. I feel like I'm gonna go through her old backlist, because just her writing is absolutely beautiful. And I'm talking about Julie Ann, and I read Out of Love by her. This was a recommendation by Cheyenne, and you all know that I love Cheyenne and her recommendations, so it was totally fair that I loved this. And this book was so, like Cheyenne told me, expect the unexpected, and it was absolutely that. I was not expecting anything. We were like, okay, so who's this guy? Because the main girl, which I completely forgot her name, but I remember his name is Slade Wilder, and I don't remember her name. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I suck at this. But so Slade is like, they are at the university, they are in college, and she sees this guy, and he has a dog, and it's like, service dog. What is that dog for? Like, why is he in class with him or everywhere he goes? Why do people let him? Because she thinks that he's deaf or anything, but this whole book is just a mystery. So I would say go into it blind, because that's what I did, and I was like super surprised, and I absolutely loved it. Also the steamy was, the smut was great, and the whole plot was like, what the hell. So I've heard like this is kind of like a prequel or second generation of the Jack and Jill, I think, Jack and Jill duet or series or trilogy, I think, by her. And now I want to read it. I want to read everything by her, because I absolutely loved it, and I rated it 5 stars, obviously, because loved it so much. So the next book I read, it was a buddy read with my 2 girls, Joanna and Katerina, and I'm talking about A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. All right, this book was one of my most anticipated reads, like, ever. My brother gifted me the book for not for my birthday, but for Christmas, and I read it. The magical thing about doing a buddy read is this: when you get to express what you're feeling at the moment, what your thoughts are, and it was just incredible. I don't think I would have, I don't know, I probably would have rated it 5 stars still, even if I didn't buddy read. But I think the fact that I got to buddy read and experience and express all my thoughts with my girls, and I think that made me love it even more. But this book is angst, and nearly 600 pages, and it's just like, I don't even know what to call it, because people say it's right person, wrong time. I wouldn't say it. I think like there's kind of like miscommunication here, but I don't want to say it that way, because I know a lot of people don't love miscommunication, and I don't either, but it depends on the way it's written, So this book was filled with emotion. It makes you so angry at times. It makes you hate B, and sometimes it makes you hate Jamie, and sometimes you hate both of them, and then sometimes you feel sorry for one of them. It's just really angsty, but the whole banter was very well written, because I think it was very raw, and I think, even though we think like, no one could go through that and like be so blind, and like, why the hell do you guys not just get together, and because in reality, in real life, what happened in this book, it happens, and it really does happen, and it's like, why are people so blind? Why are people so stubborn? Why don't they? But it just but the end was worth it. I read the 5th anniversary version, which has the Jamie POV, and in the end it was all worth it because it was absolutely beautiful. And if you want to feel all the feels, and if you like angsty books, then A Love Letter to Whiskey is for you. And I rated it 5 stars, so yeah, it was perfect. So next I have Say Yes, which is a novella by Lucia Franco. It follows up Hush Hush, which I read in January, and the novella was just, I rated it 3.5 stars. It was just a guy proposing to her, you know, James proposing to Aubrey, and it was just, I think it was unnecessary. I loved Hush Hush. It was my first read by Lucia Franco, and I love Lucia because I think like she's such a positive energy, but I didn't love the novella. I felt like it was unnecessary, and it didn't add up to anything. I felt like I was bored throughout the whole novella, and it's like, it wasn't even 200 pages, and I was like, I dragged it for like at least 2 or 3 days, and I was like not feeling it. So I rated it 3.5 stars, and it was just really boring for me, to be honest. So I didn't really love it. Next, I read another novella, which was Visions of You by Catherine Cowles, and this is like kind of like, not a prequel but it's like a novella from the Lost and Found series, which is her newest series. And I read Whispers of You back in January, and I absolutely loved it. This novella is really short, but it was really nice, and I really enjoyed it. It follows, I don't remember their names, obviously, because I don't remember any names, so I'm really sorry. But it follows this girl and her best friend's older brother. They always had feelings for each other, but he moved away because of that, because he didn't want to complicate things. But now she has a stalker, and he works for this company, which is Holt's company. Holt is the main guy from Whispers of You, so now they're going back there to help her and trying to figure out who the stalker is and to protect her. And then it's kind of like a second chance. It's very short, but it was really beautiful, and it had smut, and it was just, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I think for a novella it was just perfect. It was very well written, and I didn't think it missed anything. I just wanted to read more from them, to be honest. But I rated it 4 stars, and that's quite a lot for a novella, you know, because a novella is a novella. It's just really short, but it was entertaining. Next, I read Say You Love Me Again by Carrie Aarons. It was an arc that I got, and it is a second chance romance. It is celebrity, like rock star, ex-model. They have a daughter, and they divorced because of something that happened, and now he's going on the tour. His name is Levi. I'm not sure how to say the name, but Levi. And her name is Sophie, and Hart is their little girl, and she is the sweetest. And now they go on a tour together because like he wants to take the girl on a tour for the first time. She's like 7 years old, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just really, I really loved it. And the only thing that I felt about this book, it was that the little girl, she's 7 years old, and she sounded way too smart for her own age, you know, the things that she did, that she knew how to do, you know. It's just, I felt like she sounded way too smart and like too grown up for a 7-year-old girl. But other than that, I just really loved it. It was a beautiful second chance romance. I loved the writing, I loved the banter, I loved the plot, and everything was just really entertaining, and I absolutely loved it. So I rated it 4.5 stars, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 4.5 stars. So I actually really do recommend it. Next, I have another novella by Catherine Cowles, which is Snowbound. It is the novella for the, I think, for the Tattered and Torn series that I got. You saw in my haul, and this novella was kind of like, I didn't really love it. It's like also second chance romance. They used to be lovers, but I think she left, or he left for some reason, and now she goes back. She's trying to run away from like an abusive relationship, and now, you know, it's just really like they spend the night together. It was not anything that extraordinary. It was just like, I didn't really love it. I rated it 3 stars. Yeah, 3 stars, because I didn't really love it. So it was just that it was a little novella, but I think because it was like the newest one is better because she's improved her writing and you know everything else. But I just, all in all, it was not like I didn't really loved it, so it is what it is. Next up, we only have 2 more books left, and one of them is a novella, which is the last one, but the next one is Mile High from Liz Tomford, and this one was also buddy read with my girls, and this book was just, the hype is freaking real, you guys. Like, it was just absolutely perfect. I loved it so much. Like, first of all, just Stevie is just absolutely perfect. She's, I won't say she's me, but she's so relatable. From all the characters that I've read, like in all the books that I've read, I found some that were really relatable. Oh my god, this is so hard to read. Relatable, but Stevie is really just the most relatable character, at least to me. Like the way she felt about her body, the way she felt about everyone else about her body, and everything, you know, everything that she went through, everything that she felt, it just was so relatable to me. Every thought, every little detail. And then Xander's was just like absolutely perfect. And I think from this book on, he's one of my favorite book boyfriends. I think right now he's on top of that list, and he's just perfect because he grovels and he pines over her, and he's just like, he just goes after her, and the way that he's so he's an outcast, you know, he's an underdog. It's like people don't really see who he is, and he feels bad for that, and he thinks people are not gonna love the real him, and so he keeps pretending and putting on that facade, and it's just really like angsty on that part, and I just loved it. The writing was absolutely beautiful. It was always entertaining. The book is huge. It has over 600 pages, but like I didn't feel it had 600 pages because the whole story was absolutely like addicting. You know, it was just perfect, and I absolutely loved it. I rated it 5 stars, like infinite stars. It's one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and probably last year as well, because it was just absolutely amazing, and I totally get the hype, and it's so worth it. Like, if you haven't read it, if you're like pondering on reading it or not, like maybe, oh my god, it's hyped up, you know, just go read it. It's like, it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. I'm one of those people that sometimes I don't like a book because it's hyped up, but this one it's really worth it, and I absolutely loved it. So last but not least, we have a novella by Julie Ann, and this is The Last Person. And I'm telling you guys, this is a novella, but it's a novella that it's the most perfect novella that I've read, like always. And I've read quite a few in these last few weeks, lately. And the only problem that I felt with this novella was that like it left me craving more from these 2 characters. So we have Erica, and I think not Erica. We have Eric, which is the guy, and we have the girl, which is Hannah, and like she lives in this compartment. She runs a book club with her best friend, and they live together. And like this guy, he's their new neighbor, and they kind of like feel attracted for each other, like from the first moment they met. And then they invite him to the book club, and he goes, and like she chose her favorite book for the book club, and then he doesn't like the book that she chose, and it goes from there. But then they start having like kind of like this physical relationship, and then they're always fighting because of the book. But there's like a whole plot in here, you know, like in this just little novella, there's a whole freaking plot in here that was like, I figured it, but at some point I figured it. I was like, okay, I know what's happening, but still, it was absolutely amazing. And the writing and the way that she's just, because I felt like this was insta love, but I hate insta love, but this one was just it was great, it was amazing, and I loved Eric so much. And I get Hannah and what she feels, and like why she's like so pissed, and like, but it was just perfect. Honestly, I recommend it if you want to choose a novella to read. read this one, because I'm telling you, if you haven't read anything by Julianne, you're gonna be obsessed. You're gonna be wanting to read all her books, because that's how I felt, and I really want more from these two characters. And well, also this novella is free if you go on to her profile on Instagram. If you click on like the link part, there's gonna be a link to that. And yeah, so you guys, this was it was not very quick, because I'm looking at my camera and I have 25 minutes filmed, obviously with cuts and all. But anyways, this was my February wrap-up. These were all the 12 books that I read in February. I think all in all it was a good month. Even though I was on holidays, I felt like I didn't read that much, because I read the same amount of books that I read in January. But this month, like in February, I actually read quite like a few novellas. So whilst in January I read quite like chunk books, you know, so it was like I felt like I didn't read much. I don't know what happened, but anyways, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you enjoy what you're reading and that you love what you're reading. So these were the books that I read. So let me know in the comments if you read any of these, or if you're planning on reading any of these. How was your January February wrap up? And if you have any new videos, let me know. And yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and give me a book pile, like a stack of books emoji in the comments if you reached this far. And that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys come back for my next one, which is probably gonna be on Sunday, because I want to post my March hopefuls, which I'm gonna film right next. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thanks so much for coming back. Bye. But I don't want to get up now, you know. Why am I lazy? Started to cry, but then remember I can buy myself books.